your yoga practice. We'll begin class by laying on our backs. Notice that as you transition is your opportunity to practice yoga. Noticing your breath, inhaling and exhaling, and then arriving to this present moment. Now, it takes skill to cultivate this ability to release your to-do lists for the day, to create some space between your thoughts. This is something that doesn't easily come to us. Therefore, we practice noticing our breath, and more specifically, our bodies, the way balance, strength, and flexibility, how we experience it, how we deepen. Simultaneously, we connect that physical, mental, emotional body. So as you're laying on your back, take a few moments to make those subtle adjustments that make you more comfortable. Being purposeful in softening neck, shoulders, down the spine, down to your feet, your toes, and then gathering your breath, inhaling and exhaling, noticing the nature of your breath, no judgment of it, you're just noticing where it is right now. And then when you're ready, take an intentional breath, that sort of breath that is expansive. It's that breath that begins at the belly, and then an exhale, sigh out. Take a couple of rounds of this. It's always optional to sigh out. I emphasize sighing out so that you notice that immediate connection of that release. It feels like a physical release, but as you start to gain that awareness of the physical, mental, emotional body, you'll start to notice, hey, this isn't just a physical release, this is also a mental and emotional release. So feel free to sigh out or just normal exhale. Purposely softening the length of your body. We're taking a moment of rest and pause here at the beginning of class. Notice that culturally we tend to be very fast-paced, a lot of tasks, a lot of movement. And then also notice in relationship with all the global changes going on right now, this is a very good time to slow down and notice that wisdom when we do nothing, when we're slowing down, when we're sensing. Right now you're practicing sensing. We'll invite 5 breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. Don't necessarily have to count the breath. At any point, open mouth, exhale, sigh out. If you have trouble concentrating at any time throughout the class, lengthen your inhale and exhale just a little longer than you're accustomed to. That's going to immediately bring you back into your body, into this moment, by intentionally breathing a little longer than you're accustomed to. That's available for you at any time throughout the class. So from here, we'll go ahead and invite a full body stretch. We'll lift our arms up overhead, point your toes. Now take whatever you need here. You can flex your feet, you can lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling. Separate your shoulder blades. You can swivel to the left or to the right. We're gently waking at the body here. And then release. Start to bend that right knee, lift your leg up towards the ceiling. Let's interlace your fingers right behind our thigh. You're lengthening your leg here. Optional if you want to rotate your ankle, your foot clockwise, counterclockwise. The more you press your heel up towards the ceiling, you'll deepen a stretch there around the calf. You can lengthen your leg. You can bring your thigh closer towards your belly and chest. For some more stability, press that left foot towards the front. So your left foot is flexed. Inhale. Exhale, breathe into your boundary, and now bend your knee. Take your hands to wrap around that right knee, round your spine. So we're taking the stretch up into our upper body, around your neck. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Core workout here as well. And then drop your head. Now rest your right ankle on top of your left thigh. That means that you bent your left knee, that foot's on the floor, your left foot on the floor. Right ankle or shin right on top of your thigh. Now, weave that right hand between your legs. Interlace your fingers right behind that left thigh. You're focusing on your right hip here. Breathe into your boundary. A few breaths here. Deep belly breath. Exhale, release. That both feet float off the floor. Hands towards your knees, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, chin towards chest, hold. And then drop your head back. Now, drop that right leg onto the floor. Let's flex that right foot towards the front for some stability. Lengthen your left leg up towards the ceiling. Optional to rotate your ankle here. Otherwise, you're focusing on your hamstring, lengthening your leg, and bring your thigh closer towards your belly or chest. Deep belly breath. Neck and shoulders are as soft as you're able. Deep belly breath. Inhale, exhale. And then bend your knee, grab that knee with your hands around your spine, forehead towards your knee, chin towards chest, hold. And then release. Right foot onto the floor, left shin or ankle rests on top of your right thigh. Weave your left hand between your legs and interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. Focus on your left hip, hang in here, or bring your thigh closer towards your belly or chest. Inhale, exhale. And then release, both feet float off the floor, bend your knees, round your spine, chin towards chest, hold here. And then release, ground both palms onto the floor. We're going to lengthen our left leg, bend our right knee. We're going to shift into a twist to protect our spine. We're protecting our lower back, mid back especially. So you're going to hook your elbow right onto your knee. You're going to twist towards the right. And you want to be active here. So you're going to flex your left foot towards the front. You're going to check your spine, lift your chest. Chin is neutral. Now shift your chin towards your right shoulder. Hold. Release. Opposite side, we're going to bend our left knee, take our right arm out, and then twist towards the left. Spine long, right foot flex, chin towards your left shoulder. And release. We'll shift into our tabletop position. Once in your tabletop, you're checking your hands, making sure they're right beneath your shoulders. Knees, hips width distance apart. We're going to take one cow pose, inhaling up. Exhale, round your spine. Cat pose, inhale, cow. Now, when you're in your cow, you're purposely lifting your tailbone. You want to release any stored tension around the lower back. As you're exhaling, release tension, especially around the neck, between the shoulder blades, round your spine, press through your palms. And then after you've taken a few rounds here, you'll come back to a neutral position. So one or two more rounds if you're cat and cow pose. Once you've completed those rounds, press that left palm onto the floor, lift your right arm up towards the ceiling, hold. And then release. Opposite side, lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, cat pose. Lift your right leg, bend your right knee, stack your hips. Round your spine, knee towards chest, chin towards chest, hover. And then release. Lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips. Round your spine, knee towards chin, chin towards chest.
Release, lift up, downward facing dog. We're gonna remain a few breaths here in your down dog. Let's break this down. Your fingertips are spread wide. Weight is distributed, especially around the palms. Arms are long. As you press your palms into the floor, you bring your chest a little bit closer towards your thighs. Your hips are lifted. You can get some more lift by lifting your heels. You're inverted here. Breathe deeply into this inversion. Your head is upside down. This is energetically powerful. Feel free to hear your inhale and your exhale. You have the option of pedaling your feet back and forth here. You're going to open up more around the hamstrings by doing so, even the hips and glutes. Be generous, bending one knee more than the other. You also have the option of just being still, breathing into the backs of your legs, breathing throughout the strength of your arms, noticing fingertips, noticing toes. Start to take your gaze right between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. We're going to take that left hand onto the floor, shin, or your forearm can rest on your thigh. You're going to bend that left knee pretty generously here as you twist here. You're lifting your chest up towards the ceiling. You're in a twist and lifting your right arm up towards the ceiling. Press through that right heel for a deeper stretch, affecting hamstrings, hips, glutes, lower back. Deep belly breath. Release opposite side, right hand on floor, shin, or forearm onto your thigh. Lead through your chest and heart. You're lifting your left arm up towards the ceiling. Place some weight on that right heel. Don't forget to breathe. Release your hand. And then inhale, let's sweep our arms up overhead. Hands meet in front of your heart center. Let's inhale here, exhale, side out. Release your hands, inhale, arms lift. Interlace your fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Lift your heels halfway or all the way up. Keep your gaze steady as you look at one point across the floor or room. Breathe into your heels, your core strength. Notice that paradox of stability and movement in the pose. Release your heel, release your hands, dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, soften your neck and head, 2 more rounds. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, third round. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Let's sweep our arms up overhead, distributing weight on our heels. Feet or hips width distance apart. You can imagine yourself scooping up the energy of the day, taking it down to our heart center. So this is a holistic yoga practice. We inhale, exhale, welcome our breath. We welcome our experience. We create those connections physically, mentally, emotionally. Through awareness and stillness and presence. We inhale, exhale, release our hands. Let's lift our arms up overhead. Sun salutation. Bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Soften neck and head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release the back plank pose. Keep your elbows close to your torso as you release down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. So I'm engaging my glutes here for extra support. My shoulders are drawn down. I curl my toes, use some core strength as I lift into my downward facing dog. So use some upper core strength there. Take your gaze between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, softening neck and head. Sweep your arms up overhead. 2 more sun salutations. Notice your right hand press against left hand press against right hand. Inhale. Exhale. Release your hands. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release the back plank pose. Release down towards the floor, tops of the feet are on the floor. Core strength, glute strength, using that upper core strength as I curl my toes, lift up, downward facing dog. Deep belly breath here. Keep your gaze between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Sweep your arms up overhead. Anytime we're lifting to standing, it's a good time to reset, to arrive to your body, to this present moment. Inhale. Exhale. You can move at your own pace as we shift into our third sun salutation. Step back into your plank pose at your own pace. Eventually, we all meet at our downward facing dog. Once in your down dog, lots of core strength here, or body strength really. We're gonna lift our left leg, bend our knees, stack our hips. Left knee shifts towards that left elbow. You hover here and then lift your leg back again. Bend your knee, stack your hips. Now left knee towards that right elbow, hover. Lift your leg, bend your knee, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Generous breath. And then lift your right leg, bend your right knee, stack your hips. Right knee towards that right elbow, hover. Lift your leg, bend your knee, stack your hips. Right knee towards your left elbow. Core strength, press through your palms, lift back up. Downward facing dog. From your down dog, plank pose, release your knees onto the floor. Drop your belly on towards the floor. 5 rounds. You can interlace your fingers behind you or just shoot your fingers up. You're lifting up through your chest, you're engaging your glutes. Tops of the feet can remain on the floor or you can float your feet off the floor. Use your breath to help find that lift. Bring your shoulder blades closer together. Mentally prepare yourself that on that 5th round, you're going to remain there an extra breath, 2 or 3, you can decide. When you reach that 5th breath, hold, remain there, inhaling and exhaling. Lots of strength here. Quad strength, glute strength, and throughout the back, release. Drop one cheek onto the floor and very purposely soften the body. Let your breath collapse, meaning let your breath be whatever it needs to be here. Scan neck, shoulders down the spine. Remember, we have to practice softening our bodies. This is a holistic yoga practice, so we're noticing when our bodies are active, but we're also noticing when our bodies are soft and relaxed. We want both.
for balance. So though you're relaxing your body, you can still remain attentive and aware. I recommend noticing your breath. And as I reminded at the beginning of class, at any time you can lengthen your inhale and exhale a little longer than you're accustomed to arrive to this moment. It takes practice continuously from one moment to the next in this class. And ideally, we take some of these learnings, we can apply it to the rest of our day. A few more breaths here. One more breath cycle here. Inhale, exhale. We're going to go through another round 5 times in a row. Either interlacing your fingers or just shooting your fingers behind you. Now, purposely stitch your shoulder blades together, whichever position you choose. Feet can float off the floor. Use your inhale to find that lift, exhale, release. So we're practicing slow, mindful movements here to protect our spine. Inhale up. Exhale, slow down. Inhale up. Slowly release into that exhale. Find that strength in your inhale. Notice you're activating some quad strength and glute strength to support you as you find that lift as well. On that 5th round, I recommend staying there an extra breath cycle, 1, 2, or 3 breath cycles. You determine how long you want to stay up there. Lots of strength and perseverance, lots of opening throughout the spine, release around the neck, abdomen. Drop the opposite cheek onto the floor. Once again, be purposeful. Scan neck, shoulders on the spine. How can you soften just a little bit more? Let your breath be what it needs to be. Remain attentive and focused. Simultaneously relaxing your body. We have a tendency to think that relaxing means doing something not important or being inattentive. It's not like that. It's about being relaxed and focused. Another intentional breath cycle here. Start to lift into an upward facing dog. Shift into your down dog. Once again, in that inversion, breathe into the backs of your legs, lift your tailbone. And then start to prepare for a pigeon pose. You're going to take your right knee towards that right elbow. Drop that left leg and scooch that left leg back. Balance on your fingertips here. You're already sinking into that right hip. There's already a stretch going on. By any means, if you prefer to stay lifted, go ahead and do so. You also can remain lifted with forearms onto the floor, or you can drop your forehead all the way down to fist or the mat. You're breathing to your right hip, releasing and you're rounding in the lower back. So I'm demonstrating rounding right now. So rounding is like when that lower back, upper back is a little bit rounded. So you want to drop, I'm demonstrating here, you can drop your belly towards the floor. It's going to release that rounding and most of that stretch will shift into that right hip. Breathe into the stretch. Deep belly breath, one more breath. Curl your toes, ground your palms onto the floor, lift up, downward facing dog. If you want a more active class, go ahead and take one vinyasa. We meet here in our downward facing dog, prepare for the other side. We take our left knee towards our left wrist, release, lengthen our leg behind us. You can take a moment here, lifting your spine, opening your chest. You can remain here or drop further down towards the floor. Forearms onto the floor. Keep your forehead lifted or all the way down to a fist or in the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Two more breaths. Now start to curl those right toes, ground your palms onto the floor, lift up, downward facing dog. Deep belly breath here, inhale. Exhale, pedal your feet back and forth here. You can take one last vinyasa of the class. Otherwise, we drop our knees onto the floor. Check our hands, making sure they're right beneath our shoulders. We inhale up cow. Exhale, round your spine cat. Come back to neutral position. Look over your right shoulder. We're focusing on a stretch on the side of the neck here. And then drop your head completely, top of the head. It's parallel to the floor. Look over your left shoulder a few times here. Stabilizing through your palms.
And after a few rounds, release. We're going to lengthen our legs out in front. Core workout as we slowly release down towards the floor. First, palms up, facing the ceiling. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Hover here, feet can float off the floor. Any shaking is fine. And then release. Inhale and exhale. Bring both soles of the feet together, knees are bent, hands can frame your hips here. Open up throughout the hip and groin, drop your knees down towards the floor, release the lower back. You have access to that full diaphragm breathing here. Deep belly breath here. This is going to be the full breath you can go back to throughout your day, throughout your week. Deep, full belly breath. Breath you can go back to throughout your week. Just take a couple of those to reacquaint yourself with what that feels like. And after that next breath, release. Both feet float off the floor. Grab your feet with your hands. Start to lengthen both legs. Bend one knee more than the other. You can rock to the left and to the right. You want to get that final deep massage and stretch from toes and heels, calves, hamstrings, lower back, hips. You can even massage from mid-back or rocking to the left and to the right. Start to release pose, and then transition into your final resting pose. In your final resting pose, you have the choice of letting your breath go back to its natural rhythm, no control of the breath. There's a lot of benefit there. Or if you're practicing deep, long breaths, you can take some time to do that as well. This is a pose that teaches us the wisdom of being still, of doing nothing, of allowing our senses to just sprawl inward and outward. We're integrating our practice physically, mentally, emotionally, releasing, letting go, receiving, integrating. Soften forehead, jaw, neck, and shoulders. Down the length of the arms, palms and fingertips. Notice you tend to clench and use your hands so much. Notice how your hands feel when they're soft and relaxed. See if you can imagine them floating just a little bit more. What is that experience like for you? Soften the upper back, mid back, lower back, around the tailbone and hips. Down the length of your legs, behind your knees to your ankles, heels, and toes.
Observe any thoughts and any sensations without judgment, just notice. We'll start to shift our attention to our breath. Inhaling, perhaps exhaling, sighing out. Restore some movement to your fingertips and toes. Remind yourself to invite a generous and leisurely breath. You can invite a full body stretch. You can turn your body to the side, allowing it to remain heavy and relaxed. Once again, taking a generous and leisurely breath. And then after a breath or two, start to make your way up to your seat. We'll sit in a cross-legged position. Hands can rest on your knees. Activate your core, lengthen your spine, draw your shoulders down. Notice that at any time throughout your day and your week, you can always go back to your deep, full breath and arrive to this moment. So in honor of our breath, we'll take our hands to our heart center. Let's inhale here and exhale. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. May we walk each other in gratitude.